You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, GH fans. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have got our General Hospital Predictions Edition for this week for front burner storylines with Molly and TJ and Kristina, with Neddie and Olivia, and a third one with Carly and her maybe being in a tasty twin sandwich. We're going to dig into an extra helping of all of these predictions. All of them are based on spoilers. I'm going to tell you what spoilers I have in mind when I am making these predictions, and I love to read your comments, so definitely think where the storylines are going. See if you agree or disagree with me. Drop your comments below, and while you're down there, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our GH updates. Let's dig into these predictions. We've got 3 sizzling predictions. The first is that Molly and TJ's surrogate falls through, and they're going to need Kristina Corinthos. They're going to need to rent her womb with a view. You know, it was lightning fast on General Hospital that Molly and TJ went from infertility diagnosis to her not wanting a kid right now to completely reversing course and researching surrogacy options. And then one day with a few interviews, a few of them good, one shockingly bad, and they've made a decision just like that, so fast. It seems very hasty, and then Molly dissed Kristina by not inviting her to hear the news at the little sushi family party, and that led to an inevitable sister spat. And Kristina thinks Molly is going to regret not having a baby related to her when she could have used Kristina as a free surrogate, and she would have had a biological tie to the baby as well. And I just want to pause and say, you know, that shouldn't matter, because it doesn't matter to adoptive parents, things like that. A lot of times it doesn't matter to step parents when kids come into their lives that they have no biological tie to. But at the same time, a lot of people definitely want to have a child that's biologically related to them. Molly clapped back on Kristina, and they were bickering. And, you know, Molly thinks her future is set because they have the perfect surrogate. And as far as she is concerned, Kristina can take a long walk off Pier 54. So my prediction is that something goes awry. Perhaps the surrogate can't get pregnant, or she backs out for some reason. Maybe she turns up pregnant with her own child instead. In the end, I predict that Kristina is going to end up being their surrogate and egg donor, perhaps by default, but there is a reason that I think this. While there's not an official spoiler right now, after Molly was kind of ugly to Kristina, I feel like there's going to be some karmic retribution, and Molly's going to have to go back to Kristina, apologize, and ask her to help out and donate an egg and carry her baby. Because the reason I'm saying this, one of the reasons that Kate Mansi, who plays recast Kristina, came to GH was for an endometriosis storyline, because she herself suffers from it. If you don't know who Kate Mansi is, she was a phenomenon over at Days of Our Lives. She is very well regarded. She is very talented. And it's hard to imagine that she's not going to be front and center for this endometriosis surrogacy storyline, given that that was part of the package that they used to lure her to General Hospital. So we shall wait and see. My number 2 prediction is just a fun one, but it is based partially on a spoiler and partially on a leak from a pretty reliable source. My prediction is that Neddie, what I'm calling Ned and Neddie, gets Olivia pregnant. All right. So there is someone who's pretty reliable for little leaks, has someone in their family working behind the scenes at General Hospital. They have leaked extremely accurate information very early. So that's why I'm very interested in their leak. All right, the spoiler this week, the official spoiler, says that Neddie softens up Olivia towards him by playing a song for her. On Monday, he's working on a song and he talks to her about it, and then he sings to her. And nothing is hotter than a musician crooning to you, right? Right? I mean, we all do like him on stage when he's Eddie Main. I like the scruffy beard. I like him better than corporate Ned. And I'm definitely feeling sparks between Olivia and Neddie, even though he was hitting on Carly and that random blonde last week at the bar. But the more he sees of Olivia's Bensonhurst's side. I think the more he digs her, and maybe that's why he's singing to her. So that's the spoiler that this part of this prediction is based on. And now for the leak. The leaker said that there's going to be a geriatric pregnancy on General Hospital. If you don't know that word, you might think, oh, it's going to be somebody who's 80 getting pregnant, Monica Quartermaine or something. But no. Interestingly, a geriatric pregnancy is when the mother-to-be will be 35 years old or older at the time she gives birth, which that's kind of almost the average age these days. A lot of women are waiting to have kids later. So if you didn't know it already, if you're having a kid and you're 35 or older, that's a geriatric pregnancy. What a terrible word for it. Nonetheless, that definitely fits Olivia Falconeri Quartermaine's age range. And maybe she's not being very careful with her birth control because her husband is basically gone right now and she's very distracted and very emotional. If Neddie seduces her, Olivia might have a whoopsie pregnancy. It would not be her first. Remember, she and Julian had a one-night stand. I think it was like a New Year's Eve thing. And then she turned up pregnant. But the bigger question for me, because inevitably Ned is going to be back to himself being Ned, will Ned be upset when he's back in his right mind if she slept with Eddie and got pregnant? I mean, no doubt Ned would be thrilled if she was pregnant with his child. I'm certain Leo would be excited to be a big brother, but it might be kind of weird for Ned to think, that wasn't me that you slept with. That was Eddie Main. It's just weird. All right, I've got one more prediction, and it's about Carly. I'm wondering if Carly's going to end up in a tasty twin love sandwich. So I know that a lot of people really want to see Sonny back with Carly when things with Nina inevitably blow up, but I have another idea. So this is based on a pervasive but so far unconfirmed rumor that Steve Burton could come back to General Hospital when he wraps his run at Days. So here's the facts of the matter. Steve Burton inked a one-year deal at Days. He began shooting in October of 2022, but his first air date was not until March 2023 because they tape 6 months ahead to minimize costs. They work at a very fast pace. They work way ahead. It's a whole different environment than the other 3 soaps. So Steve Burton wraps his 1-year contract in October 2023, which is very soon, like 4 to 6 weeks from now. I mean, he could extend over at Days, but that is the lowest paying soap. All right. And I will say, since I watch all 4 soaps, that I am not overly impressed by how they're using him over at Days of Our Lives. And if GH came knocking, he'd be a fool to say no to a return as Stone Cold Jason Morgan. So if Burton is coming back and if Carly's not with Sonny because she's still waiting on Drew or he gets out and he's with Drew, would Jason pursue her? How soapy and bizarre would it be for Jason and Drew to be twins in a love triangle with Carly? It would certainly give Sonny something to think about. I mean, Carly has loved Jason for a long time, and they finally confessed it right before they got married and just before they were going to consummate. Remember, Sonny basically walked in the room and blocked that whole thing, and then they, fake killed him. We all know Jason's not dead. And now Carly has fallen for Drew. So if they're not doing a Carly-Sonny reunion, which I feel like they're not doing, at least not for a while, and if Steve Burton does return, I think this would be amazing. So in a nutshell, this is less of a prediction and more of my wishful thinking for plots that I'd like to see. But there is some information to indicate that Burton may come back. We'll see. All right. If you enjoyed this, please click a like. Drop your comments below on where you think these storylines are going. And if you haven't already, please reach down, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our General Hospital update, spoilers, news, and more. Thanks for listening. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.